January 3rd, 2026, Caracas, Venezuela. Inside the largest military compound in the country, a sprawling fortress called Fuerte Tiuna, the most hunted man in the Western Hemisphere was asleep. Nicolas Maduro, the disputed president of Venezuela, believed he was untouchable. He had 24-hour bodyguards, Cuban agents stripped of all electronic devices to prevent tracking. He rotated his sleeping locations constantly. He changed phones obsessively. And he was surrounded by thousands of soldiers sworn to protect him. And yet, in just hours, American Special Forces would be inside his bedroom. This is not a story about a lucky break. It is a story about a $50 million question, and the person inside Maduro's own government who finally decided to answer it. A sitting head of state does not get kidnapped. That is how the world works. International law grants foreign leaders immunity from prosecution. They command private armies and intelligence services. They vanish into secure compounds at a moment's notice. Maduro had all of that, and more. His primary residence was inside Fuerte Tiuna, Venezuela's largest military complex. The compound included a steel-reinforced safe room designed to withstand a direct assault. In the months leading up to his capture, Maduro had grown increasingly paranoid. He reduced scheduled events. He cut back on live broadcasts. He surrounded himself with Cuban security personnel who carried no phones, precisely to make electronic surveillance impossible. He trusted fewer and fewer people, constantly shifting routines, convinced that betrayal was always just one step away. So how did the United States walk in and take him? The hunt did not begin in 2026. It began years earlier, inside American courtrooms. In 2020, the U.S. Justice Department indicted Maduro and 14 other Venezuelan officials on narco-terrorism charges. The allegations were staggering: cocaine trafficking, money laundering, conspiracy to import weapons. Prosecutors accused Maduro of turning Venezuela into a criminal enterprise, using the cartel of the Suns to flood American streets with narcotics. To Washington, Maduro was no longer just a political adversary. He was a target. By 2025, the Trump administration decided to raise the stakes. The U.S. offered $15 to $25 million for Maduro's capture. Then in August 2025, Attorney General Pam Bondi doubled the reward to $50 million. The message was clear. Someone, somewhere, knew where Maduro slept. And for $50 million, someone would talk. To understand how Maduro was found, you first have to understand how he protected himself. In 2025, his security apparatus was layered: outer rings, conventional military checkpoints, anti-aircraft batteries, and thousands of troops. Middle rings, elite presidential guard units. Inner rings, a small team of Cuban intelligence officers, men with no phones, no digital footprint, and orders to keep Maduro constantly moving. Maduro rarely stayed in the same place twice. He slept in rotating safe houses inside Fuerte Tiuna. He changed his schedule unpredictably. He used multiple cell phones to evade tracking. The system was designed to defeat exactly the kind of surveillance the United States might attempt: satellites, signals intelligence, even human spies. On paper, it should have been impenetrable, but every system, no matter how secure, has a human layer, and that layer is where even the strongest systems begin to break. The operation began quietly in August 2025. The CIA secretly deployed a small team to Caracas. Their mission: map Maduro's pattern of life. Where he slept, what he ate, how he moved, who he trusted. They used stealth drones that provided near-constant aerial surveillance over Venezuela. They monitored his bodyguards, his vehicles, his routines. But the real breakthrough came from a human source. A person inside the Venezuelan government, someone close enough to Maduro to track his location in real time. According to sources briefed on the operation, this asset monitored Maduro's movements for days and was ready to pinpoint his exact location as the mission unfolded. How was the asset recruited? Former officials say the $50 million reward was a key factor. Loyalty had a price, and someone decided it could be bought. By late 2025, the CIA and special operations analysts had Maduro wired, meaning precisely located, from early on in the planning. The first breakthrough had happened. The question was no longer if America could find him. It was when they would move. By November 2025, the operation was accelerating. President Trump authorized the CIA to take more aggressive action. A secret plan, codenamed Operation Absolute Resolve, was approved. Elite Delta Force commandos built an exact, full-scale replica of Maduro's safe house at a U.S. military facility. They rehearsed the extraction hundreds of times, practicing entry routes and rapid breaching techniques. Meanwhile, the military buildup in the Caribbean reached historic levels. An aircraft carrier, 11 warships, more than a dozen F-35 fighter jets, and over 15,000 troops poured into the region. But then came a twist that almost derailed everything. On November 21, 2025, Trump and Maduro spoke by phone. According to multiple sources, Trump gave Maduro an ultimatum: leave Venezuela within 1 week or face consequences. Maduro refused, but he demanded full amnesty for himself and his family, removal of U.S. sanctions, and control over the Venezuelan military. The negotiations collapsed. From that moment on, this was no longer diplomacy. It was a countdown. The clock was now ticking. If Maduro suspected what was coming, he could disappear completely. The window of opportunity was closing fast. December 2025. The strike team was ready, but the weather was not. For weeks, U.S. forces sat on standby, waiting for optimal conditions. There was a false start 4 days before the actual raid. Trump gave the go-ahead, but military planners advised him to wait for better weather and less cloud cover. The delay created unbearable tension. Every day that passed was another chance for the asset to be discovered. Another chance for Maduro to move. Another chance for the entire operation to unravel. But the CIA source inside the Venezuelan government kept reporting. In the days leading up to the raid, and even on the night itself, the asset provided real-time location updates on Maduro and his wife. The Americans didn't just have an idea of where he was. They knew. On Friday, January 2nd, 2026, at 10:46 p.m. Eastern Time, President Trump gave the final order. "Good luck and Godspeed," he told the commanders. More than 150 military aircraft launched from 20 bases across the Western Hemisphere. Bombers, fighters, reconnaissance planes, drones. U.S. Space Command, Cyber Command, and intelligence agencies coordinated to knock out Venezuelan air defenses and even electricity in the capital. The helicopters, flown by the Army's elite 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, flew just 100 feet above the ocean surface to avoid radar detection. At 1:01 a.m. Eastern Time, the extraction team landed at Maduro's compound inside Fuerte Tiuna. The commandos moved with overwhelming speed. According to Trump, Maduro tried to reach his steel-reinforced safe room. He did not make it. Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, surrendered without a fight. By 3:29 a.m., they were aboard the USS Iwo Jima. So after all of that, the drones, the commandos, the 150 aircraft, the replica compound, what was the one thing that made it possible? Not the satellites, not the stealth technology, not the firepower. A single human being inside the Venezuelan government. The CIA asset was the linchpin of the entire operation. Without real-time confirmation of Maduro's location, the mission would have been blind. The $50 million reward was not just a bounty, it was an invitation, and someone inside Maduro's inner circle accepted. So, what do you believe? That the most powerful military in the world cracked an impenetrable fortress? Or that a single person for $50 million decided that loyalty had a price? Here is what we know. Nicolas Maduro was not caught by accident. Within hours of his capture, global reactions began to unfold. Markets reacted, governments issued statements, and Venezuela's power structure was thrown into uncertainty. The United States spent months mapping his movements, years building a legal case, and weeks planning the most complex special operations raid in a generation. They found the weakness that exists in every system ever built. The humans running it, the bodyguards, the aides, the inner circle. Someone talked. Someone always talks.